Yo, what up, everybody? We are back. I know it's been a while, but we are here. We got a lot to talk about with the NFL draft. Jermaine is out somewhere in a smoky room or whatever he's got going on over there. Here he comes. And we are in season 4. I guess we're still in season 4, right, Trey? What is this, episode 26? Whatever
yeah,
it is.
man. Special edition, add on
Yeah.
to season 4 before
All right.
5 coming in a couple months. So yeah.
All right. Yeah, we got season 5 coming out. And you know what we got to do, guys? We got to figure out like when our 100th episode is because we've probably gotten pretty close. We got to figure out how many episodes we've actually done too, and see if we do
We're
like a
almost
special
halfway,
episode.
maybe about 40.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
we're
about
getting there.
halfway. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this season alone was 26. Last season, I think, was
That's
like
right.
20. So
Yeah,
I
there's your
mean,
Yeah.
46 there. And
and then we had season 1 and 2. So we might
Absolutely.
be getting there.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's good to be with you guys. It is Sunday, April 28th today. And of course, we got the main, crew here, Enough Said Crew. As always, you can check us out on social media and email us, enoughsaidcrew@gmail.com, or just follow us or hit that subscribe button, Enough Said Crew. We are all over the place, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and feel free to give us a shout out. All right, let's introduce the normal suspects. You guys know it's been a while, so I got something for all you. I think Andre knows what's coming, though. Andres and Jermaine's are kind of along the same subject line here. All right, let's start out with Mike. During the draft, he tried to remain on an even keel. Now, if we could only get him to ride that damn Ferris wheel. What up, Mike? What's going on? What's going on with the Ferris wheel? You got a little something going on with Ferris wheels? Or
I don't mess with Ferris wheels, man.
I know that's
old for that,
especially Atlanta, man.
I used to do that when I had no fear, but now, But
Anything
yeah,
can
no, that was
happen.
when I was in Atlanta down there, with trying to catch up with Jermaine, and they got this big Ferris wheel by the Olympic Park, and
Okay.
that's when that area we was in for the tournament.
Nice. All right, cool. So, Mike, welcome as always. And let's get to
Mike.
Jermaine. During the draft, when the Eagles picked, he tried to remain calm. And when he played paintball, he felt like he was in Vietnam. What up, Jermaine? What's
What's up, fellas?
now
What's
Andre
up?
really knows what's coming.
Yeah, I know where it's going now. What up, Jermaine? What's up,
going
man?
on, fellas? What's going on?
What's up? What's
Didn't
up?
like paintball,
Hey.
Jermaine? A little too warlike for you? What happened, man?
Hey, man, I don't know what Dre. I think Dre was trying to set me up with all that craziness. What is going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Crazy as he is, I was like, yeah, he was in
Uh-huh.
Vietnam or whatever, So, my God, but yeah, it's all
Oh,
good.
that's funny.
All right. Last but not least, here we go, Andre. When there is no Sprite, he drinks Coke. And when he plays paintball, he dresses like the Michelin Man without a heat stroke. What up, Dre?
That's a good one.
I like that.
I like
Good
it.
one.
I
The
like it.
Michelin
Oh,
Man.
man.
He was all packed
Yeah.
up.
I like it.
Dre, you
If
almost
the viewers
passed out.
don't know, yeah, man, I was having a heat stroke. I had so much equipment on my first time ever playing. I was like, I didn't want to feel the paintball. Next thing you know, I did one game, and I was just like, hold on, man, I'm really hot. I'm
He
feeling
couldn't
dizzy.
breathe.
I go into my car to turn the air on, and it still wasn't working.
Oh my God.
I called my wife up. I said, babe, I think I'm having a heat stroke. She said, what I'm gonna do about it? You like
Yeah.
50 miles away. Then the
I
guy
I
told
would
me,
love
"Hey,
to be a
babe,
fly in that car. I would love to be a fly in that car to actually
guy-
see him because you know how small flies are. He'd have heard me laughing so loud.
Yeah, I got out the car and I'm kind of like this and whatnot. And the guy said, take that stuff off, man. What is wrong with
Right.
you?" He's like, here's a peach, man. Your sugar's low or something. It's
Yeah.
like-
Wow.
man.
Well, yeah,
man.
that
That's
was
awesome.
interesting. That was funny.
Dressed up like the Michigan Man. Mike, I thought you would have had something for me between K and birthday rhyming. I thought you would have had something for me, man.
I
Come
was
on.
trying to think of something, man. I don't have anything.
That's a
Yeah,
lost
but,
opportunity. K and birthday.
Don't
Come
worry.
on.
Yeah.
To bring you in, Sal. It is your B day. Well, happy
It is.
birthday, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm getting up there now. It's good, man, and all good on my birthday. And I love just hanging out with the crew here. It's a good way to spend it, and appreciate you all. It's been fun, man.
That's right.
But all right. Well, I'm glad nothing happened the last couple of days in the NFL. First of all, did you guys see the sea of people in Detroit? Man, that was a lot of people. there had to be like I think they said over 100,000 or something like that. Did you?
Well,
see
that's their
Wow.
first time. That's their
Yeah.
first time hosting the draft, and they're actually relevant now because they made it to the NFC Championship. So yeah,
Mhm.
they ain't know what
Yeah.
to do with themselves. I mean, I'm surprised Detroit is still in the land of the living. You know what I mean? Like they didn't
Yeah.
go crazy and whatnot. So
Yeah, man.
yeah.
I wonder if that was one of the largest turnouts the draft ever had.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
they're happy about that. So
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
good for the city,
yeah, it is.
and everything
Yeah,
that Detroit's been through as a town. And I hear a lot of people say that as a city, the city's developing, like it's actually, getting a lot of technology companies and stuff up that way. And
Mhm.
as
Mhm.
like I had an investor talk about, if you want to invest in someplace, Detroit's actually the place to invest in. But yeah, no, that's good for the town. I mean, that's cool. The NFL does that. They travel around to different cities and host the draft and everything, and they get people excited. Of course, that's exactly why I hate the draft. If you see in my title
I see
below.
it. I see it. What's going on, Mike? Talk to us, man.
Why do you hate the draft?
Well,
Mike?
no. So I hate the draft because it's like this whole big thing of all positivity, right? Like everyone gets all their hopes and everything. And so, like when I look at the teams in our conference or even in the division, like
Mhm.
Arizona got Marvin Harrison Jr. And like, Marvin Harrison Jr. was kind of arguably the best receiver in the draft. It's just like now we got to deal with him, And so
Mhm.
Arizona's all this hype and everything of how great Arizona did in the draft and got all these players and so all feeling all good. And it's kind of like, man, I just hate all that seeing other teams in our conference get better, because just
Mhm.
make it tougher to win the Super Bowl. I mean, I know San Francisco made some additions and stuff like that, but they picked 31st and like 63rd. I mean, the picks are so far down,
Mhm.
so you can't really get like top players in those positions. Even the Eagles, man, they did really good. And so now, that whole rivalry with Eagles and Niners and stuff, all that trash. Trash
Mhm.
Berry talk. They found a replacement for him. They found two replacements for him. So now,
Mhm.
it's kind of like, dang, I hate the draft, man, because all these teams, on paper now look like they got better. We have to see it in action because a lot of guys that get drafted, don't pan out. But, it's just everything got tougher again. Detroit got stronger.
Mhm.
The Rams got stronger.
Yeah.
It's
Rams
just
did well.
that-
Mhm.
Yeah, the
yeah,
Rams
that's
did
why I hate
well
the
in the
draft.
draft pick.
Because
Well,
it's
Mhm.
just so much excitement and positivity for all the teams that I don't like.
Yeah.
that's the reason. The reason also is that you should be mad too, is because you didn't win the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Yeah, that also sets back. That also sets you back too, because just like what you were saying, Mike. That window's closing, and that basically, with the getting into the Super Bowl, you have to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you're mad because you're seeing all this talent coming in. Yes, it's on
Yeah.
paper, so we got to see what the deal is. That's
Mhm.
why I see when
Yeah.
you said, "Look, when you get to the Super Bowl, you gotta win the Super Bowl.
You
know
gotta
what I mean?
win.
You
Yeah.
gotta
Exactly.
win,
Yeah.
because if you don't win, now you're looking at it, Mike. It's like, damn, all these people around us on paper. It's on paper.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Got better.
And,
You know what I mean?
and,
So, yeah.
and to make it worse, the team that they lost to in the Super Bowl that they should have beat had no daggone receivers. And look what they did in the draft.
Yep.
They get, Xavier Worthy from Texas, a burner. And then they
Yeah.
got Hollywood Brown, who was kind of a burner in his time. So now
Yeah.
Mhm.
they finally got some receivers. So now
Mhm.
it's even harder to beat them. So I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you gotta capitalize when
You gotta
when you have the
capitalize.
opportunity.
You're right. Now I see what you're saying, but you gotta
Mhm.
capitalize, because when that draft comes, that's it. But
Yeah.
I don't like the draft. I mean, now I like the draft now because I like how they split it up.
Mhm.
As far as Thursday doing the first round, Thursday doing the
Mhm.
first round, Friday doing the second and fourth or whatever, and then finishing up on Saturday. I like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because it's not like it's drung out and whatnot. It's bad enough that everybody gets 15 minutes and whatnot, but I feel as though after the first 10, 15 picks, I mean, basically, towards the end of the first round, everything else is just, flip a coin. I mean, are they going to be good, or they're not going to be good? You know what I mean? I mean, everybody thinks, oh, well, yeah, this, that, and yeah, they talk a whole bunch of trash. Man, they got the best thing in the draft and this, that, and the other and whatnot. And then you don't hear nothing from them in the NFL at all, So,
Mhm.
like you said, the hype is just, I don't know how to really explain it, but it's just crazy, because I feel as though okay, after the first round, I mean, you go into the second and third round and all that stuff. Yeah, you do your homework and stuff and researching and all that stuff. But how good is these players are really going to be unless you just, all of a sudden you just pick and you just like, well, I close my eyes and I pick this person.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first round was pretty much offensively heavy until Eagles picked the corner.
14 picks.
Yeah,
so
offense.
The hype to me, the hype there is like, wow, man, offensively, the teams are looking at trying to have some explosive players coming up this year offensively. Yeah. And you're right, Jermaine and Mike. I see what you guys are saying.
I mean, you look at Philly. I mean, Jordan Davis. I mean, it's still on the, it's a question mark still there. Nolan Smith. I mean, he's probably gonna get more time since we got rid of Reddick and all that stuff. But you don't know how these guys are going to play out. Keely Ringo, you know what I mean? You don't know. Nakobe Dean is still, it's a question mark on there. But when we pick these Georgia players, oh man, they got all these Georgia players, and man, they're going to be. I mean, nobody hasn't seen anything yet. Nobody, it's still out on the table. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Jalen Carter ran out of gas at the end of the season.
He literally ran out of gas.
You don't know what's going to happen. But we had the best draft last year. Come on. I mean,
you brought up one other point that I can't stand about the draft. That is the clock, and I understand it's a show. Right, it's a production, so you gotta stretch things out. But so I watched the first. I was at pool when the draft was on, and I was watching it, and the Bears got up there in the first round. The first pick gets 15 minutes. And I'm like, it don't take 15 seconds to know who you're going to pick here. And they waited till it was like 5 minutes left. I'm like, it didn't take you 10 minutes to figure this out. You weren't going to trade that pick. You weren't going to get anything different. With, so just say we're taking Caleb Williams to call it a day. And then the next picks were like, everyone got 5 minutes, I think it was after that. And I'm like, come on, Washington, you're not going to get Drake May. You're not even thinking about him. And you already brought the kid in, Jaden Daniels on a plane and whatnot. So that's another 15 seconds, but they got to sit there and take all the time in the world so the commentators and all that kind of stuff can sit there and talk about all the highlights of these players that they've done talked about the whole entire week. But, I guess this is production. But, man, sometimes I sit there and watch that. It's like, you could wrap this thing up in like an hour. It's 4 hours.
Take the fantasy draft. Fantasy draft time. You got 90 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fantasy draft. You got 90
put it on auto.
Yeah, or do it like free agency. You know what I mean? Illegal tampering and whatnot. You know who you're going to take, Mike. Like you said, Chicago.
You don't know by now.
Caleb, we're going to sign this contract right now, and we're going to announce it to everybody. Hey, the night before, Chicago took Caleb Williams. That's it. You know what I mean? Come on. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, as the draft goes on, everybody will say, well, you're paying these guys millions of dollars. You want to make the right decision. But like you said, you bought the guy in, you're going to pick him. Like, let's move it on. Like you're not going to trade the pick. Yeah. I mean,
right.
I mean, but you guys are right. Also, like, I sent you guys that chart in the middle of the week. You see how hard it is to gauge these players in these positions, especially the quarterback position. I mean, it's so hard. And you could think it'd be the greatest thing since sliced bread in college, but for whatever reason, it doesn't click in the pros, or they don't have the right coaching, or they don't have the right mentorship. So it takes a lot, and you grow through the draft, and you're supposed to fill in with free agency, but a lot of teams, man, they can't seem to get it right. And it's not an exact science, it's really difficult. But speaking of getting it right, Jermaine, did Howie get it right? He said quarterback factory. Now it's cornerback factory. He picked 2,
he went quarterback. He went quarterback heavy. I mean, this Williams guy out of Toledo is supposed to be the truth, because it was between him and Terrion. I forgot his last name, but it was between those two. But he picked the faster guy. He ran a 4.3 in the 40 and whatnot, and but
he did that with Jalen Reagor too. He picked the fastest guy.
True. But this man's supposed to be a shutdown. This man's supposed to be a shutdown corner. I mean, he can play zone, he can play press, and all that stuff. So, Like I said, I mean, again, what me and Mike was saying. I mean, it remains to be seen. You know what I mean? I mean, are these guys going to be panned out? Because the way when they drafted him, he didn't look like he wanted to come here. I mean, I don't know if he had like a straight face, like he's ready to go to work, or he's like, why the hell did the Eagles say, I don't want to come here, because he saw the mess that we dealt with towards the end of the season. So I don't know, you know what I mean? But it's Bradbury, be aware. You know what I mean?
He's done.
Slay, be aware. I mean, if this guy comes in and he's a workhorse, see you later. But I on paper, like Mike was saying, on paper, it looks good. It looks good.
Can I ask you guys a quick question about Jeremiah Trotter Jr.? We mentioned about linebackers was a very important, missing piece of the puzzle for the Eagles. And we know his father was exceptionally well. My question is, did we pick Trotter because he was the best linebacker at that draft at time, or it's just favoritism?
It's fifth round pick. I mean, it just happened to fall right there. I mean, he's sitting there. Hey, yeah. I mean, fifth round pick. I think that's a good value. Yeah. I mean, for that, it's a good value for it.
They better
the first linebacker to be picked in the draft. So
yeah.
Well, I think he was the first linebacker to be picked
in the fifth round. Yeah. So, I mean, I think the value's there. I mean, I don't think he's like his dad. He's good. You know what I mean? But I don't think he's like his dad. He's still got some raw. He's still raw, but you got your dad as one of the best linebackers in Eagles history. You know what I mean? Teaching him and all that stuff. So I think to be honest with you, it's a good value.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was kind of one of those feel good kind of things, but I think, where they had him on their board, I don't think they like reached to get him. So I think it just kind of worked out that way. I mean, I think you have to, as a GM, you have to do the right thing by the team. You can't, make sentimental picks. I mean, that's kind of like, Jerry Rice's kid, Brendan Rice he went undrafted, or I think he went late.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, that's Jerry Rice's kid. We should try to draft him because of the genes. It's like, no, his production in college was okay, but a lot of players better than him. So, you got to take him where he should have been taken.
Well, unlike Jalen Reagor, you know what I mean? Monte Reagor was an influence to Howie. That's why Reagor was drafted ahead of Justin Jefferson. You know what I mean? So, like you said, take him. Take him, dude. You play defense. I mean, and Reagor played wide receiver. I mean, come on. I mean, how influenced Howie did? That was about the dumbest pick between him and that fireman guy, you know what I mean? But Danny Watkins,
Danny, Jesus.
You're right, Mike. You're right.
The good thing about Cooper DeJean that they took later on, the second cornerback, he can also play safety. He can return kicks and punts. So I mean, they really got some versatility there. He might give, CJ Gardner-Johnson a break. I know that's Mike's favorite, so I might give him a break. And then the running back that they got from Clemson, he also can return kicks, so we may see the end of our boy Jermaine.
No, man, no, I can't.
Cubby on notice. I saw someone tweeted that. It was like, Cubby better take note.
Yeah. Will Shipley's in the house now. I mean, Clemson, we talked about Jeremiah Trotter Jr. The Eagles picked two players from Clemson, Trotter Jr. and this Will Shipley. And this guy's Shipley, they said he could be easily a number 2 running back. He's going to challenge, he's going to challenge for a position. So,
I'm a piggy.
I'm sorry. Like you're happy for the draft, Sal.
Yeah.
I know. This is the first time, man. You just, any other time, you're just an angry man about Howie and all that stuff. It just sound like you're happy. Like, oh, man, yeah. It seemed like they got some good there. I was like, okay, Sal, all right, man. That's good. All right.
And Sal
being about hope, right?
Yeah.
And to piggy off of Will Shipley, because I looked at his demo reel and some of the stats. Yes, he's definitely going to be not a third down back. He's not going to be like your bell horse, but he's going to be a person who can actually get I see he has versatility and speed. and they said that production wise, it's a very well-rounded good back that I think Philadelphia can have. And then you got Saquon Barkley, who's probably going to be the workhorse.
Probably. He better be with all that money you paid him.
I mean, I'm just saying, like using Shipley, and then of course we still have Scott, right? We still have Boston Scott. And,
and then one other one.
And Gainwell, right?
Gainwell. We got Gainwell.
And Gainwell.
Number 2 right now, Kenny Gainwell. Yeah.
So this should be a good fit, I think, for the Philadelphia Eagles to have that running game established, And then they said his hands are okay for catching in the backfield from what I saw with Will Shipley. So we'll see.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with the Eagles, it still comes down to the positions you didn't draft, and that's Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore. All these pieces, all those parts, everything you got, all comes down to what are they plan to do with it? Because, like you say, you're talking about the offense, and are we going to run the ball or not? You don't know. You hope so. We have Kellen Moore's track record that they're going to run the ball, but you don't know. I know Vic Fangio doesn't blitz a whole lot, so are we going to see a lot of sacks and stuff like that, and pressures, or do you need to have a strong cornerback because you don't blitz a lot? So you got to have these strong cover guys. That's the big wild card with all of that with the Eagles.
That's the big question mark, Mike. I mean, we talked about it all this past season, like the coaching. We saw what happened with Brian. We saw what happened with the other guy
Sean
we had.
Desai,
Sean Desai.
Combination
of two. Big old question mark. So the players might be a good. I say the Eagles grade. If we do grades, I would say it's a good grade. Like I would say a B+.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the bend but don't break defense.
Right, the bend don't break defense. I got you. So you're right, Mike. You're right.
Jim Johnson passed away. Please, God rest his soul. I mean, Jesus. I mean, I would love to have another Jimmy Johnson.
Yep.
Jim Johnson back, as a defensive coordinator. But all these years, and it's been years that we had these bend but don't break defense, and you want to rely on the front four. And I don't know when the last time we was just like a blitz happy team, or even a blitz at all. You know what I mean? Because if it is a blitz, it's very it's disguisable that you really can't see it. It's like, oh, they blitzed. You know what I mean?
They did?
Yeah.
Well, I think also if you look at the Eagles, I mean, they picked some receivers that are pretty big. In fact, one of them was meant to be a tight end, but not as big as the 2 signings they have. Man, did they spend some money at the wide receiver position? I mean, the contract for Brown, holy smokes. I mean, that's insane. And then I'll tell you, Devontae's not that far behind. I mean, Eagles spent a ton of money.
When I saw Devontae get picked, he was actually the 4th highest paid wide receiver like a couple weeks ago. And then, they restructured A.J. Brown's contract, right? So I'm looking at, they're really like relying on both these receivers because they're in the top 5 highest paid receivers.
Yep.
I mean,
AJ's got a lot of
love. I was surprised.
A lot of guaranteed money.
I just felt like they were trying to drive the price up on IU just to stick it to it.
You taking that personal?
It's like, we'll show you.
I know. Here you go.
Raising the price on these houses in this market, boy.
80 million guaranteed for the real deal. 80 million guaranteed over 3 years.
More crying, man.
Outscoring your opponents. They care about defense, but they don't care about defense. So I'm sorry. This is the point. I mean, you got your top 2 wide receivers. You got Dallas Guy. You got Saquon coming out of the backfield. There's no reason that you guys should be averaging about 30 points a game. I don't want to see 29.9. I want to see 31, 32, 32 points a game. You know what I mean? That's what you want to see. If you putting all your emphasis on that, I mean, my God, Jalen Hurts, you got a juggernaut of an offense. You do. There's no excuse. There's no excuse by you guys putting up 30 points. I don't care what's the best team, Kansas. There's no reason why you shouldn't be putting up 30 points a game. I'm sorry.
Well, and to go off of that, the question mark is, who? Hurts.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't
We
know.
need to bring back the 2021 Hurts or whatever it was,
Yeah.
2022.
Well, that's what you did. I
I
mean,
mean-
okay, since Hurts was hurt, I don't know what was going on with him mentally, physically, or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're right, Dre. There's no excuse for Hurts. There is no freaking excuse for Hurts. None whatsoever.
Mhm.
They done built everything around you. There's no excuse. There's no
Well, I know what
Uh-oh.
the excuse is going to be.
what?
And if he doesn't do well, and that this is his third offensive coordinator in 3 years,
Yeah.
it's another offense. You went from the coach out there in Indy,
Psych-
what's his name, Steichen,
Yeah.
to Brian Johnson last year, who
Yeah.
knows what that was, and then now
Yeah.
you got Kellen Moore. So now it's 3 coordinators in 3 years. So if he doesn't do well, that's going to be the excuses. His own consistency. With the offensive coordinators.
But what are you going to do? I mean, does everybody have the same situation? If you got a knockout coordinator, offensive coordinator, then he goes get a head coaching job, and what are you going to do? I mean, because you're going to go after the head coaching job, you're not going to be a coordinator. You know what I mean? So you see what Steichen did, and other people on now. Kellen Moore, if he knocks it out the box, he might be going next year.
That is true.
Like,
yeah.
What are you going to do? What are you going to
Yeah.
do?
It's that succession plan. You almost always had to have someone. You feel like you got to have someone that's like studying or learning, almost like the DeMeco Ryans thing in San Francisco. That thread ran out, but he was under Saleh. But then Ryans left, and they went outside, got Wilkes, but now they went back in house and hired Sorensen. So it almost sounds like you almost have to develop within, for your coaching, because like you said, these guys get hot and they're gone.
They're gone.
Yeah. And I think the other excuse is going to be, well, Jason Kelsey retired. Their offensive line is not strong. But yet, this center from NC State that they got, this Dylan McMahon, they said he could step in and start for Kelsey. They said he's back, but they picked him in the 6th round. But one of the things the Eagles do have is they got one of the best offensive line coaches. And it was the only one they didn't fire. So, so he is really good, and he's got if he can take a rugby player and turn him into a legitimate NFL offensive lineman, that's pretty damn good. I mean,
Stoutland's been there. How long has he been there, Sal? He goes all the way back to Andy Reid, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's been there a long time. And he's just really good at developing these guys, whether it's Lane Johnson, whoever it is. He just finds it. So they're going to have to find a replacement for Kelsey. That is going to be a big one. Lane Johnson is 33 years old. So he's,
What about Jurgens?
Jurgens. Yeah, see, that was Kelsey, because they asked Kelsey when they drafted Jurgens, and Kelsey told him to draft him. So, but now they're thinking, when I'm hearing on the radio, they're thinking about, well, let's keep Jurgensen at guard.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And then they talking about rumor that they was going to place Dickerson at center. You know what I mean? So it's like, it remains to be seen what the offseason's going to do, what training camp's going to happen. I mean, they're going to be flipping stuff around, trying to figure stuff out and whatnot. But I heard about that. I heard about the one where they drafted that. That he's a plug and play right now. You know what I mean? So
and they picked up another center, didn't they? They for the free agency. I thought they picked up another guy from Indy or something like that. So he's there too. So I think they really want to keep Jurgens a guard. It sounds like they really don't want to move him over. They like where he is. So you do need a replacement for Lane Johnson eventually. So you got
another year or two, I believe. I think another year. I mean, next year you probably go and draft his successor. That's the only thing I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You got at least 2 more years with Lane.
And that makes a difference, right? Because typically offensive linemen take a while to grow, but when you have somebody like Stoutland and you can get them in there in a year, then you can worry about other things like picking 2 cornerbacks early, and so it makes a big difference. But like you said, it all doesn't matter unless these offensive and defensive coordinators get it together for the Eagles, and the Eagles got to get off the field on 3rd down. That's
God, man. Say it again. Say it again, man. 3rd and 13, 3rd and 15. It's like,
I stressed the hell out of that, man.
Crap, man.
Not even 3rd and 15. It was like 3rd and 22 and 27. I'm like, what the heck?
Well, let's see what happens. I mean, CJ, we know what CJ is. I mean, I don't think he's going to be what he was 2 years ago when he was at the Eagles, but he'll be solid, and then see what they do with Bradbury. You know, he might not. You know, he might not be starting.
Is
you
Justin
know?
Simmons still out there, Mike? Is he still out there?
I'm not
Because I
sure.
know at one point, I think he's still out there. I don't know why he's still sitting out there. If he is, he's still sitting out there. The safety.
Yep.
He played what? Denver, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But I don't know why they haven't picked him up, because they signed your boy Sal Reed Blankenship. You know what I mean? And everybody's not really sold.
Yeah,
Everybody's not really sold on him. You know?
God. He's
He
a
was.
good backup.
I mean,
he is.
he was,
but he's just
yeah.
not
I
a
mean-
star.
Well, wasn't he voted like he got a bonus, right? Like Purdy
Yep.
did, because he was most
Mhm.
improved. Yeah,
He did.
And they got the other kid from Iowa, right? Who got hurt. Who was the guy? Eagle safety that got hurt. He's going to be good when he comes back. But Eagles got that too. So they'll. I don't know. CJ, I think it's just a transition. They got to find. You know, you're not going to find a Brian Dawkins. You know, but you're going to have to find somebody that can fill the safety spot a little bit better than Reed Blankenship. That's for sure. All right, let's talk about which teams you guys felt got most improved. You know, everybody was talking about, especially with Washington and everything like that. So what do you guys think about Washington? Did Washington really make that much improvement this off? Did they close the gap between and Dallas? They were supposed to be their big offseason, right? Like this was it. What did Dallas do? I mean, you know,
Dallas, I don't know. Dallas is so messed up as far as cap is concerned, because they're so messed up with what CD and Micah and all that stuff. I mean,
Dak,
and Dak, Dak is the biggest one. Yeah. So they're so. I don't know what Jerry's got to go. I'm sorry, Jerry's got to go.
Yeah, he's
not gonna happen
until they figure it out. You get Jerry, vote Jerry out. Go to sell Jerry, sell the team, do something. You're not going to do anything. This is Jerry's deal. This is how much you like. You don't like Howie. I mean, Jerry. I'm not a Dallas Cowboy fan, but Jerry's got to go. I think he's the worst owner in the NFL, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah,
you know,
I think if you're a Cowboys fan, you have to feel confused. Like the messaging, that we're all in, and then every move that you have seen. I mean, I don't know if this is like 4D chess, man, or something. Because I'm looking at this, like, okay, they didn't do anything in free agency really. No. And then in the draft, they pick positions that were just kind of like, well. Okay, I guess you need offensive linemen, but there was nothing to be excited about. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what strategy they're taking.
I'm looking at this right now on the other screen. It looks like it's an auto pick. Because round 6, they only took one wide receiver in round 6, and that was pick 40. And then everybody else was like an offensive tackle, an edge, a guard, a linebacker, a cornerback, another offensive tackle, and then the DT and the defensive tackle. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, if you're a Cowboys fan, you have to feel like something's going on. When you look at that division, especially after the draft, you definitely feel like the Eagles got improved and got stronger and should do well. I think Washington, of all the picks that they had, I swear Washington had like 30 picks. It just seemed like it was just nonstop. The Commanders pick. I was just like, Dad, they got a lot of picks. Yeah. I mean, they can't get all their picks wrong. I mean, it's just they got to hit on something. And then, I think the quarterback, I think he's going to be good. I think he's just got to figure out how to stay healthy because, he's a Lamar-ish kind of, quarterback, could scramble and stuff like that. Those guys, tend to get hurt, either getting hit or just making a move. But I think Washington and Philly look like they are improved. I think the Giants
finally got a wide receiver.
They got a wide receiver, but they got a quarterback.
It's
still the age. It's Danny Dimes, and I'm not sure how well their offensive line was. I don't remember it being that great. And I don't trust them. I think they're kind of on the way out. I feel like they should have rebooted from the start when they got Daboll as a coach. I think trying to get him to correct Danny Dimes and kind of going too far down the road now that and all the turmoil I feel like they're going to be ready to reset again next year. I think they're going to have you never know, but I think they're in for a bad season, and that's that. But I don't know what to say about the Cowboys, boy. It's just
It's going to be a fire. It's going to be a dumpster fire this year. I don't see them competing at all. Like you said, if you said, I mean, if Washington, like you said, with the 30 picks that they got, you can't get 15 of them right. You know what I mean? Then why did you have 30 picks then? You know what I mean? But
so many picks. Oh my god.
Yeah, man. They got a lot. They only have one wide receiver though.
So I mean,
well, I think they're settled with Scary Terry and Dobson. You know, they've invested that in the past. Offensive line was a big thing. You remember Sam Howell last year was just getting sacked left and right. You know, part of it holding on the ball too long, part of it because they couldn't protect him. And then of course they got number 2 picks, so they got to protect that guy because now it's a big investment. But I think Washington just, I mean, I know Hef's happy. I mean, they look like they're doing functional things that in the past they were semi-functional, just the decisions they made, the way they were constructing the team, everything with the coaches and coordinators. I mean, they got a legit GM now that understands
Who's the head coach now?
What's called Dan Quinn.
Okay.
Yeah, but then they got Cliff Kingsbury as the offensive coordinator. And he's got experience, but as Hef pointed out, in the text and stuff like that, and what you're saying, Jermaine, again, you got a guy that if he has a great season, if Jay Dale knocks it out the park and has a good year, the coordinator's gone. If I get head coaching opportunity, and you're back to square one again.
You're back to square one. Yeah, you're right.
Talking about teams that don't know what they're doing. Going back to that a second, Atlanta.
Thank you.
Down in your neighborhood, Jermaine. You sign Kirk Cousins to this huge contract, and then you draft Michael Penix, left-handed quarterback. Is this Michael Vick? They think they're trying to get Michael Vick again? Like, what is going on down in Atlanta?
Number one, you sign, like you said, Sals. Number one, you signed. Kirk Cousins don't care. All right, you paid him $184 million. He don't care. They said, they were saying that. Oh, well, Kirk Cousins didn't give a heads up. No, he's just sitting there. He's smiling. He's like, I got paid. I'm fine. You know what I mean? I don't care.
Yeah.
But when they signed Penix, I was like, yo, and I'm just clowning everybody at work. I was just like, what are y'all doing? And all they doing is they shake their head. It's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. You can't. This Penix is that one that he's got to play now. He has to play now. You know what I mean? You just can't put him on the shelf. It's a first-round pick. I mean, you got to stick him in there now. But what? But how can you when you just paid Kirk Cousins $184 million?
He's a number 8 pick. Number 8.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, I thought it was another Michael Penix out there. I was like, oh, all right, maybe it's a safety or something. Like, no, that's the quarterback. It's like, what?
They saw Michael Vick or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
so this guy.
I mean,
that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
So I was listening to some of this discussion about this whole pick, and the mindset of the Falcons was that they feel like they're never going to be picking at number 8 again, which means they had the expectations that they're going to do really good and have a great season, that they'll be picking late going forward. So they're like, well, we might as well do it now while we can, because we're going to be better. And I was like, boy, that's really counting chickens for the hat kind of thing. Because y'all are okay, but that division is kind of saucy there. So you might be picking early again next year and miss out. But the other thing is that you got Kirk Cousins, who probably could play at least 2 years if he doesn't get injured. So Michael Penix played, I think, 6 years in college already. And so he's like 24 years old. He might be 26, 27 years old before he actually is a starter. I mean, you
God, that's old. That's old NFL, man. He's already a veteran before he's a veteran.
Like you
He's
said,
got to play now.
This is like you got to play now.
Right,
I mean, unless you know something about Kirk Cousins, we don't know. Like this Achilles, that is not healing right or something like that, or you really expect him not to last. I didn't understand that. I thought they could have definitely picked something different, but they seem happy with the pick, so we'll see. But yeah, I don't see him playing, which is kind of bad for a number 8 pick.
But you're right.
Yeah.
I forgot about Kirk Cousins' Achilles heel.
Yeah, his Achilles that he popped.
Yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
about that. So maybe they're looking at that, and maybe the trainers or the doctors looked at that. It's like, he may not be ready to start of the season. You know what I mean? So, but again, you paid this man $184 million for him to start game one. I mean, he's out for another 2 or 3 more. Oh, come on, man. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You know what I mean? Now you go back. Yeah, so it's like, wow.
Yeah. I like Penix. From what I've heard, I know he kind of struggled in the championship game. It he didn't step up at, the way people thought he would, but he's got a lot of experience, and it seems like he's pretty mature and everything like that. But yeah, I just thought he would go somewhere else. I really thought like Seattle was going to be like a team that would get him, someone who's got like kind of that transitional quarterback, but he could take over. Like he could beat out Geno Smith, kind of deal. Like he could do well enough in training camp that someone up there would see it. Like kind of like Pete Carroll saw Russell Wilson, take over what's his name that was there. I can't think of the quarterback right now, but he was pretty good. But Russell just looked a little bit better, and Pete made the change, and the rest is history. But I don't see Kirk Cousins getting beat up by Michael Penix anytime soon if Kirk's healthy. So he's going to be on the bench,
So is it the same for the Jets? I mean, the Jets took a guy named Travis for quarterback. I think the round 4, round 5. You got you got Aaron Rodgers coming back off of his Achilles, and are they in the same boat? You know what I mean? Are they going to do this kind of the same situation? Because we don't know about Aaron Rodgers. He might fall down in the first.
Aaron's on his way. Aaron's got another year, maybe 2. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Years. So that 4th round pick or whatever quarterback that they picked in the 4th round, I mean, you sit him on the shelf. Aaron's on his way out. Yeah. And he's, to be honest with you, he needs to go now anyway. I mean, just looking at his face, he just looks old and decrepit and whatnot. I mean, look when he got drafted to what he looks now. I mean, he looked like he's about 60 years old. You know what I mean? Like,
I can't remember how long was he on the bench behind Brett Favre?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. But that was back in the day when you did that kind of stuff. You drafted quarterback, they stayed behind somebody.
Right.
I think the pick that they did for a quarterback, when you take a 3rd, 4th round pick, you're kind of like, all right, he's going to be a backup. That's his purpose, and you're kind of doing that so you don't insult Aaron. Like if you were to pick a high first or second round pick, then you'd be like, what are you doing? 3rd round, 4th round guy, you're like, okay, he's not taking my job. But that whole Penix Kirk Cousins thing. I mean, it's a 1st round pick. I mean, that's expectation. You're supposed to contribute right away. When you take someone in the 1st round, you expect them to contribute. And I don't see how Penix is going to contribute unless Kirk gets hurt.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this question. Do you think the reason why there were so many quarterbacks taken in the 1st round is everybody thinks they're going to get CJ Stroud? They're trying to get that miracle what happened last year?
Could be, Sal. That's not a bad analogy. You know what I mean? It could be. Everybody's reaching to get that CJ Stroud. You know what I mean?
I also,
CJ Stroud.
But I think also they need it. I mean,
if you look
at the team, I mean, Washington needed a quarterback, the Bears definitely needed a quarterback. I mean, they shipped out Justin Fields, so they had no choice. New England, they shipped out Mac Jones. I think every team that got a quarterback really needed a quarterback. Now the question is just some of those teams like the Raiders, who got what they got? Denver got Bo Nix. The Raiders took the other quarterback that was kind of in between. And then of course I'm not sure how well Drake May is going to do for New England. I was a little surprised that he went so high. I'm not as comfortable with him. Like I feel like they might run back into another Mac Jones situation, but we'll see. But yeah, I think it was just it's a strong quarterback draft. It was a strong offensive draft, and so these teams all had to pick. They just had to pick those players. It was just the best on the board kind of thing.
And Sal, I want to add on to I think it's a cycle now where a lot of the older quarterbacks are out, and this is the cycle of new ones coming in. Now you're making Patrick Mahomes a veteran, you're making Josh Allen a veteran, you're making all those guys who were coming in the league 3-4 years ago, and then the guys that were behind Patrick Mahomes, all them, that was Aaron Rodgers, that was all those guys. They're dinosaurs now.
Yeah.
So this to me is now a shift or turn where all these young quarterbacks are coming out, and you got to hang with Patrick Mahomes. You got to hang with those type of guys. And CJ Stroud, man, looks like he is a serious threat.
Yeah, they're going to be good. Street Shark, welcome, man. He said he's new here, so thanks for joining us. He wants to know how do y'all feel about the NFC East draft and who's the front runner? I mean, unless you guys feel differently, on paper, I don't think anybody did do better than the Eagles. I mean, I'm hard on Howie, but I don't see anybody that really got ahead of them.
Well, first of all, Street Shark, who's your? I'm assuming that your favorite team, that your team is in the NFC East. So who's your favorite team? Who's your favorite team?
Yeah, let's find that out.
Because if you're a Cowboys fan,
sorry, man.
It ain't the Cowboys. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
And the Giants, I don't know what they're doing, but
Well, like Mike said, with Giants and the whole Daniels and the coaching and stuff like that, Saquon Barkley's out now, and then they got to get a receiver. They got a receiver, but no quarterback. So I'm not sure what that is. I think to answer Street's question, I think we were saying, I think the Eagles had the best, and then Washington, and then Dallas and Giants.
I'm gonna guess Street Shark is an Eagles fan. I'm thinking 215 is a zip code.
Yeah,
I'm green. That's right, buddy. That's right, buddy.
I look it up. 205 is a Philadelphia zip code. I'm like, I think he's Eagles.
Yeah, that's the area code. Mm-hmm.
No, Eagles definitely. I think the Eagles even before the draft was still the team. In the East. I mean, I know we talked about it. I think the East overall is still in a kind of a state of flux. I mean, a lot of teams are trying to sort things out, but I think the Eagles are still, the best team in that division, and I think they got stronger by fixing needs, especially on that cornerback position. All last year it was Trash Berry and Slay, Big Play Slay. Hanging outside the stadium with the garbage cans, talking about getting rid of Slay. They were done with it. So, how he addressed it. How he picked players that should contribute. Fill the need.
Did they close the gap with the Niners, Mike? Yeah. Did they close it?
I think so. I mean, I didn't think it was a big gap to start with. That game last year, it was only one game. They don't play enough to really see that drastic of a difference. But I think so. I mean, linebackers still somewhat questionable because I know they addressed it a little bit, but it's still not the strongest position. But I think if you saw the Super Bowl, the Chiefs did have the greatest linebackers. They had really good secondary, and so when they faced the Niners, guys like Ayuk and Samuel really had a hard time really getting open. That's what left Juan Jennings getting the ball so much. So if you don't have strong linebackers, but you still got good coverage guys in the secondary on the back end and just decent linebackers, you can still play good ball. So we got to see it all happen, and of course the injuries and all that kind of stuff. But overall, Eagles look like I think could be back to the championship game next year. Truthfully,
well, we got to see with Dre Greenlaw when he comes back and what he's going to be like. Street Shark agrees. Like me, he said I'm tough on Howie, but he had one of the best drafts that he can remember. Yet to be seen. It looks good on paper, and that's all you can say right now. It's too early. I mean, they always say it takes 2-3 years to evaluate a draft, but what he did, he addressed the need, like Mike said, 100%. Cornerback was the problem. And he got 2 cornerbacks probably for the future. Last time they had that was Lito Shepherd and Sheldon Brown, right? That was the last time the Eagles actually had 2 legitimate drafted cornerbacks that they could grow with, and they did pretty well with those guys. So let's hope that they can turn this around. Linebacker, 100% is still questionable. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., we don't know if he's going to be the answer. I mean, Lori's on the phone crying with them, and I get it. There's a sentimental weakness there. I mean, we saw the clip.
I didn't see he was crying.
Oh yeah. I've known you since you've been 2 years old. And he's crying to
Oh,
every Lori on the phone.
Jesus.
Yeah, but hey, I get it. I mean, Lori is.
Then he's gonna cut him.
Yeah, he's gonna cut him, right? You know, we'll see. I mean, Jacoby Dean, this is make or break for him. This
Exactly.
is make or
This
break
is his
for
year.
him.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
it.
you're right.
And
gotta
Jalen
stay-
Carter, you better take your, Stacey
Vitamin.
Abrams skirt off and start playing, and start playing right, because none of this. Did you guys hear now? It's 18 games. The commissioner wants 18 games. He's going to pull one out
That's
of preseason.
crazy.
It's a long haul now. So
Players
you
are going to
gotta
die
be
by
ready
week
for it.
4.
See, I give Jalen a pass. I give Jalen a
Mhm.
pass because, like I said, he was a rookie. You're a defensive tackle. Everybody's starting to figure you out. So now they start to double, triple team you and whatnot. You know what I mean? So that takes a lot of energy. So hopefully he can get your conditioning and all that stuff, in the off season, get it up, because definitely use a no-show after that. After that San Fran game. I mean, it was just definitely a no-show. But if you could get that energy up, and Jordan Davis, I mean, this is another make or break.
Yep.
Take words out of my mouth. Go ahead, Jermaine. Go ahead.
You know what I mean? I mean,
Like I said,
that's another one. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't
That's
need a
Vic
run stuff,
Fangio.
huh?
Yeah, like I was saying, Vic Fangio, he runs a 3-4, so
Right.
that totally changes that front four
Yeah, I
now.
know.
There is no
Yeah.
front four; it's a
Yeah.
front three.
It's a front
So
three.
now
Yeah.
Jalen is Jordan Davis, now playing that nose, because the 3-4 heavily depends on that nose position. That has to be the guy that absorbs 2 blocks right away.
Yeah.
If he's not big enough to do that, our offense, that defense struggles.
Yeah.
So now it's like, can Jordan Davis fill that role? Because he's a big dude. I mean, he was hustling. That one play he ran out the sideline was totally out of gas. He was moving, but that's a big dude. So now if he's just got to plug up the middle and just be big, and doesn't have to pressure the quarterback, he just has to just absorb blocks. I'd be curious to see how they use him for that. Because like I said, that 3-4 defense is a much different defense what you had before.
Jordan Davis, guys. Jordan Davis reminds me. He can be is Corey Simon. Remember Corey Simon?
I remember Corey
Simon. And then it was one year, man. It's just like, Jesus. You see his big ass, his fat ass. It took up the whole screen, man. I'm like, what the hell is that? Like somebody ejected him with some
man.
Said, oh my God! But no, I mean, if he could be somewhat like that, like a Corey Simon, just filling up like you said, Mike, jamming up that middle, absorbing those blocks. I mean, it can go a long way. But I agree with you.
So
But
Mike,
do the Eagles have enough linebackers for a 3-4? And are they going to?
Yeah. I mean,
that's
you signed Devin White, you signed Kobe Dean. You know what I mean? You got Jeremiah Trotter. Then they signed another linebacker. I can't pronounce his name. I forgot his name.
Left an impression on you.
But you're right. You're right, Sal. I mean, running that 3-4 deep. I mean, do you have enough linebackers to do that?
And that's the question, Sal. It's like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get. So, you have to figure out. It's like mandatory for all positions and coaching. To be established next year.
Street Shark, I see a question about the Niners and Debo. I was trying to trade Debo last year. I was hoping that we could get Devontae Adams for Debo, but that was not going to happen.
But that's called a dream.
But if I had to trade one, it'd be Debo, just because of the history of injuries. And I'll be honest, CJ Gardner was kind of right. He's not the strongest route runner. He's not really the strongest receiver. Ayuk is a true outside receiver that gets open, has better hands. I mean, he's definitely a better receiver. Debo's maybe more physical and definitely can do more versatile stuff. But if I had to trade one, it'd be Debo.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what they do, because they can't keep both, right? Do you see anything where they keep both?
This year they can. Next year is when it all hits the fan. And even then, they might work some magic out, financially, where they can still keep them all together. It's about winning that Super Bowl. You win a Super Bowl, all of a sudden, you start finding money. You start saying like, oh, we can keep this together and everything. You lose Super Bowl and it's like, oh yeah, we got to trade this guy. And, and it's all negative like it is right now. None of this speculation would even came up if they won the Super Bowl. They'd be none of this would have happened. They probably would have signed Ayuk already.
Yep.
None of these questions, but the minute you lose, then all the problems start rising, and then there's all this concern and stuff like that. So, yeah, they keep them both one more. They can make one more run legitimately this season with what they got, and then after that, they really do got to work some things out financially and maybe take a step back. But yeah, they're gonna sign Ayuk, I think, any day now. It's probably gonna be a bunch of money, and hopefully it doesn't hold out like Debo and Bosa did, and both of them had subpar seasons. But we'll see.
What with the Niners, the biggest thing is going to be how much does McCaffrey have left in the tank? I don't know how much. I mean, that guy has just been used so much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, definitely. Yeah, and they
Mhm.
drafted a running back that he was the fastest guy in the whole entire draft. So they got a speed guy, and if they run, some of that, trap, not really trap plays, but the pin and pull stuff like Detroit was doing, where you get a fast guy that can hit that open hole and make explosive plays. Hopefully that guy they drafted can do some of that, and give McCaffrey a little bit of a break. Because they wore McCaffrey out quite a bit last year, and he's not getting any younger. But yeah, we'll see. Just
Yeah.
got offensive genius, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Genius, right?
Look, that's what I'm saying. I feel is that's how I feel about with Saquon. You know what I mean? I mean, you ran him. He didn't have no offensive line last year. He got beat up last year. So how much does he really have left in the tank with Saquon? Everybody's on board, but I'm slightly concerned. You know what I mean? And I put him in the same category as McCaffrey.
Yeah.
It's like what are you going to get? You know what I mean? Because he was the only Giants threat last year, pretty much, and you ran him in the hole and all that stuff, and he was getting beat up. So you you don't know what's going to happen. But then at the same time, you come to a team now that you're not 100% solely, running Saquon into the hole and whatnot. I mean, you got good wide receivers and all that stuff, so that's a plus. But bottom line is, like you said, it remains to be seen. It remains to be seen with everybody. McCaffrey, Saquon, those people of nature. So yeah.
So Street Shark wants to know who's the best quarterback to succeed out of this draft. What do you guys think?
The first round, the first top three is Williams, Daniels, May, 1, 2, 3. But there were other quarterbacks in that first round that went, like you said, Pinkson, that went to Atlanta. And JJ McCarthy, Bo Nix, and let's see who else in the first round.
There was 6 in the first round or 7?
I think that's it. That's it right there. Honestly,
honestly,
I to me, I actually think because I looked at some of the history between Jaden Daniels and Khalid Williams. Now I believe Caleb Williams was backing up the guy for the bowl they had, and he went in and is that right, Mike? I'm trying to remember. There was a bowl game that Caleb Williams didn't really he wasn't really the starter at all, if I remember.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah, so
and
he took over, then he gets all the highlight, he gets all the thing and stuff and gets the hype behind him. I think Daniels might be the stronger pick. I'm not sure about May Streets, but I watched these two guys, and I feel that maybe Washington probably got the better. I think we'll see because Chicago only had 4 or 5 picks this round.
Yeah.
That's it, and they just got the quarterback, and then they got some other guys. So
they did get the best receiver, one of the best receivers in the draft.
Yeah,
like some people claim the receiver they got was better than Harrison. So I think they did right by Caleb, but at least getting him a weapon early that he can develop with. Kind of like how CJ Stroud had Tank Dell, and them two formed a good bond. I think Cesar's question is a good question because people look at who got picked and where they got picked, and then who actually you think is really going to do well. I think truthfully, I think JJ McCarthy might actually had the best situation, and that's only because he's got Justin Jefferson to throw the ball to. So you're walking into a pretty good situation. The Bears are still kind of rebuilt, and Washington, even with all them picks and everything, are still kind of rebuilding. I think New England, that division is real tough. And Drake May, You know, as Street Park even saying, I even said it. I kind of feel like it's a little bit of Mac Jones all over
Mac
again.
Jones all over
And then
again.
he's got to go up against Aaron Rodgers, you know, Josh Allen, and Tua. You know,
Tua.
so I think he's gonna struggle personally. And I don't think they really have any great weapons up there for him to throw the ball to either. I don't know who's the receivers on New England.
Yeah.
You know who they have for receivers up there? I don't know.
Not
can't
Randy
know.
Moss.
I can't count.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
You know,
remember.
Yeah, so
Um,
I think McCarthy probably going into the best situation because he's got a legit bona fide number one weapon he can throw the ball to right out the gate.
But
You know who's
have
got the best
multiple-
situation? Michael Penix, who's going to sit his ass on the bench and make millions of dollars. That's who's got the best situation.
Yeah.
He's going to sit behind
He's a
Kirk
veteran
Cousins.
already, Sal. He's a veteran already.
But you said that JJ McCarthy, I agree with that. JJ McCarthy has
Yeah,
a weapon.
that's a good
But
one.
you know what? Caleb Williams is
Mhm.
they Chicago surrounded him with a whole bunch of weapons. I mean, you got Keenan Allen. I know he's on the downside, and then you got DJ Moore, and then they also have another wide receiver. So you surrounded Caleb Williams with some multiple weapons.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
You know
it's
what I mean?
true.
Multiple weapons. So I mean, I
Mhm.
think they hit a home run. Chicago hit a home run with
Yeah.
with Williams.
Yeah, the big question mark with Chicago, I think, truthfully, is this the offensive coordinator?
line.
You know,
I
because
mean,
they kept
coordinator,
all
yeah.
the same people, and it seemed like they couldn't sort it out with Fields, and so now they got a bunch of weapons. Are they going to be able to sort it out, or are they going to be held back by the coaching?
that's
I
true.
know the coach in Minnesota. You know, he had what's his name playing good, the Pastronaut. You know, I mean, they
Mhm.
look good even without Kirk Cousins. They were putting up some points, so
Oh,
I know
yeah,
they know how to
yeah.
develop
Yeah.
quarterbacks there.
I remember that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're both in the same division, McCarthy and Caleb. So
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how that whole division. I mean, that's a competitive division, honestly.
yeah.
Um, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
from the Bears to the Detroit, who kind of runs that division now, but Green Bay was right behind them. Man, I mean, they were fighting it out.
Yeah, and
It
I
remains to be
agree.
seen.
Yeah, it was Street Shark because I was going to say like Justin Fields is running for his life. Chicago doesn't have a line, so
Mike,
you're going
I
to put this
remember-
guy back there.
Mike, I remember
Yeah.
you put it at best when you said like you watched Justin and you was like, it just looked like that man's just getting beat up, like his face. I remember Mike was saying, just look at this guy. He's just being bruised and terrorized and everything.
Yeah.
Man. He's getting killed.
Yeah,
So-
and the one thing with Caleb in college, I was talking to Tony about this because we were kind of debating about Caleb. 'Cause I was like, you know, my concern with Caleb is turnovers. You know, and he had a
Yep.
good number of turnovers in college. And
Yep.
everyone was saying, well, that's because he had to do everything on his own. You know, he had no protection, so he had to scramble and make things happen and stuff. And I was like, well, you know, Justin Fields kind of had it like that, you know, too. And, you know, if he's going to a team that's going to have him running for his life again, you know, turnovers will kill you in the NFL, man. I mean, if you turn the ball over, you will get punished. And so that's, you know, when I see like Trevor Lawrence and how he turns the ball over, you know, and then also there's always the high expectations of, you know, the generational talent, as they call it, you know, and what's his name? Trevor Lawrence was that last generational talent that we kept hearing about, the guy that walked into the NFL and just all of a sudden light it up. And you see where he's at now. And, you know, it's not bad, but he's not great. And, you know, Caleb's got that same level of pressure on him right out the gate. And, you know, I don't know. I worry about the kid. I kind of feel like, you know, he's kind of I don't say set up to fail, but I just think the expectations people have are way too high, and it's gonna hurt him, you know, trying to live up to that.
Yeah, sometimes it gets to you start putting on makeup and different things. I'm sorry. Did he actually?
Oh boy, here we go.
I don't know what
He
happened
didn't do
there.
that at draft night. I was expecting him to have something flashy on at draft night. Now, dude just had on a little black suit. He looked like he was ready for business. So, you know, maybe
Yeah.
all that was college, and now, you know, now he's pros is all different. But
Yeah.
cool.
Mhm. All right, last question, then we're gonna wrap this up here.
Yeah.
Question, fellas, what draft pick, any position went to the best situation fit wise? What do you guys think?
I think it was Xavier Worthy only because he went to Kansas City Chiefs, where you're playing with the best quarterback in the league, arguably. You can't have any better than that, especially as a receiver, man. Especially for a team that's just desperate for receiver help all last year. That's all. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is nailing guys right in the chest, and they drop the daggone ball. So I mean, if you're a receiver and you get to catch balls from Patrick Mahomes, I mean that's a dream.
I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I think Quentin.
Damn.
I mean, how can you can't walk into a better situation than having to beat out Bradbury. Come on. I mean, think about it, right? I mean, come on. I mean, how it doesn't get better than that, right? I mean, this guy
you just gotta put a jersey on, you got the job, right?
Yeah, and you got AJ Brown, and you got, obviously the two best wide receivers in the league that you're going to be playing against every day. You're going to be able to learn real quick because AJ Brown's going to hit you in the face. And he's going to push and press coverage, and so he's going to be a good practice partner for him. So he's got a pretty good situation.
Yeah.
Well, another Georgia has been picked, Jermaine, and I'm going out to. I remember how we were talking about the Bengals struggling with the offensive line, and they got a guy from Georgia for offensive tackle to help out, hopefully with the quarterback situation and the blocking that they need. So I think that was a good pick for Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah. All right. Well, gentlemen, I think we had a great discussion here today. Hey, Street Shark, thank you very much. Welcome to the show, man. We appreciate you jumping in there. And, guys, it's been a pleasure as always. And as you can follow us, Enough Said Crew at gmail.com. As always, is the email address, and in our social media channels, YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. Yeah, we try to have good insights once in a while, Street Shark. We're not always.
Don't you have Sal hosting the show? I mean, yeah. Don't you have Sal, and then second is Dre, and then Mike, and then I should be the only one on this show. So
yeah, you can check out our past episodes too. Do our YouTube channel. Please subscribe and hit the like. And also, if you're a podcast listener, like Sal mentioned, we're on all the podcast apps. So check us out. Just type in Enough Said, and check us out, man. And spread the word, man. Bling Green Nation. So spread the word.
That's right. And Jermaine, before the next show, clean out your smoky room down there. All right.
Yeah, I know, man.
Some chicken wings, man.
Man, I don't know what the kids did to this camera. I don't know what they did to this camera, man. But
it's called Windex.
It's called Windex.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, guys. We'll catch you in a little bit.
All right,
everybody.
All right.